Tonight on Debate Amongst Friends, NBA playoffs, the Western Conference champs have been crowned, and the Greek Freak and the Claw are going toe to toe, back to back for the East. As well as Deontay Wilder needs to call up Jimmy Johns because he's knocking out the opponents freaky fast.
Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, welcome to another fine edition of Debate Amongst Friends. I'm your host, the Professor John Guy. Now, by my side, my client, the reigning, defending, undisputed podcast champion of the world, Doc Lesnar. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing great, sir. How about yourself?
Can't complain. Can't even call it.
Don't call it. Don't complain.
Let's get ourselves straight into it. Let's talk about this fight, or lack thereof. Deontay Wilder deciding to put people to sleep with a
Mm.
raging right, and I don't mean Lacey's women's right, gentlemen.
Oh goodness. How rough. You
It's not
know, the
necessarily rough. This is the sort of thing that people really wanted to see. They really wanted to see
true.
a dominant heavyweight, steal these headlines. And now that they
True.
do, people are not happy with the fact that
Right.
they do. It's like you can't really have your cake and eat it. Like we're talking
Like you
about someone
want
who's now 41, wins in, with the one
right,
draw against Tyson Fury, of course.
right.
But like we're talking about someone who's been highly dominant, who rose up to every single challenge that his critics, you know, piss ants such as Max Kellerman
Mm.
want to try to, you know, divvy on him to make it
Yeah.
seem like he doesn't know what he's well, make it seem like he's just a one-trick pony. I mean, he's persevered. He, done so much that it's surprising how people are still underestimating him.
But my thing is, it's like it's okay to be a one trick pony when the one trick works every time. I mean, 40 times for a one trick pony is, it's like it's not even coincidence anymore. It's like this is skill at this point. And if 40 fighters knew that he only had one trick and they still couldn't stop it, that's not his fault.
That isn't his fault.
You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, yes, the heavyweight division wanted a guy to come back and bring the heavyweight division back with him, but I feel like his competition hasn't risen to the occasion. And I think a lot of people, you look at the 80s, the 90s, and maybe the early 2000s when we had Tyson, we had Holyfield, we had Lennox Lewis. You had a few guys, the George Foreman's in his later years. You had those guys who were making the heavyweight division huge. But
Yeah.
I don't feel like we have that right now because most of the fighters coming out that I've seen are all lighter weight. So it's interesting. I'll be interested to see more heavyweights being groomed. But Deontay Wilder knocked this guy out clean. At first, I didn't even think he hit him. At first, I was
No, he
looking. I
didn't.
was like, it
No,
looked
he
so
he got him.
strange. It looked so strange when he got hit, and I'm like, all right, it's it would have taken me longer to pull the fight up on Cody than the fight actually took place. And that's why I was happy that I didn't
Well,
even
it
get,
was such a fast fight that uh, news media outlets put the whole fight on YouTube.
and it's
So
probably okay
yeah,
because I mean, it was so fast. I will say that his press conference after the fight was pretty good. If people didn't get a chance to hear it, I mean, he talked about, how, boxing really takes a toll on you, and people aren't supposed to get hit in the head, but he believes in the old school approach to things, which is, throw those hands up. And if you had a problem, you settle it with those hands. And then afterwards, it's all good. It's all done. We could become friends and whatever happens after that. But I really enjoyed his press conference. And I mean, for what the fight was worth, I mean, probably not the price of pay per view, but I mean, as you said, this is what people wanted.
Well, I think yes, this is what people wanted, but I also think they also wanted to see him get rocked a couple of times. Once again, like you're only as good until you become the villain. And unfortunately, for Mr. Wilder, in the eyes of many boxing aficionados or, common folks who think they know boxing, they just want to see him lose.
I
Like,
mean,
it's
but
great
isn't
when he
that the
was
narrative
winning,
though?
rising up, but now that he's up top, like, people start saying that he's, overly cocky, and he has to get knocked down a couple of pegs or two. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird because it's like that for every single sport if you really think about it. Like
It
you,
is, and
you, you see yourself be a hero, and you have to see yourself living up to become the villain.
but honestly, and I hate to do this, but a lot of times this ends up being more of a race thing than an action than anything else. Because the people that I'm thinking of, and I would love for you to give me some additional examples, but I'm pretty sure a majority of those people are black.
I mean, Conor McGregor is the first one that comes off my head right now.
See, I was thinking Floyd first. Because McGregor lost. McGregor lost. I think McGregor lost more time, way more times than anyone else I know. I mean, people have
Oh no,
seen
and
McGregor
I'm
get
not
beat
talking
up.
about just being undefeated. I'm just talking about being the top of what you do.
Yeah, because I think we've seen McGregor get beat up so many times now, but he's still that's just who he is. So he's not the person that I think of when I think of somebody who's who needs to be knocked down because I mean he's gotten beat up a few times
Well,
and
I mean,
and he's taken
one
his
person who got
lumps.
knocked down and ended up losing in the main event of WrestleMania as well.
I mean, but we can't talk about that.
You asked me to name a few.
I mean, name. I mean, name it. Name them.
You already heard me say the person is Ronda Rousey.
I mean, but Ronda, see, the thing with Ronda is that she got beat up in the UFC as well, and I think that
But
knocked her down
I'm talking
way
about just
worse.
combat sports in general, sir.
See, I don't know. I think, see, with the WWE, it's hard because
Well, I'm not even
it's
talking about. I'm just
so
about
it's
just UFC and boxing. Like it just so happens she ended up losing on the biggest stage of them all
right
via botch.
via botch. Yeah, it
But
was pretty. I mean, I just think that it's when I look at it, I think these guys are taking lumps. Like they weren't out there beating people up. Like I don't know if Ronda's ever beat anybody up in less than a minute, like Wilder just did. I'm
yes,
not
well,
sure.
once
I
again,
would have to go
we're
back.
now we have to look at technicalities now because with boxing you can
Well,
knock the
that's
person out. In UFC you can make the person tap out. So
right.
using
I
that
don't know
general
if she's
rule of
ever done that.
thumb, yes, she has defeated someone really quickly in the octagon.
Okay,
So that
but I
has
don't.
happened. In fact, that was a couple of her fights. In fact,
But I don't see her as the really. I wouldn't put her in the same boat as those two guys.
I understand that, but you're the context of your question, and you asked me to name people. I was able to name a few. Now
Yeah, but
we're trying to wheedle down a little bit further.
well, no, I'm just trying to understand why you would put her, and I'm just trying to understand your rationale behind putting her in there with those two because I didn't. I feel like I don't see her like that. I mean, the WWE persona maybe, but I didn't see her like Wilder and McGregor, Mayweather.
Very, very outspoken and flamboyant and things like that. Okay, then if you say something like that, then I can't run Rousey in there. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm think. That's what I'm thinking. That those are the people who really get hated on, and what people really, really show up to watch them lose. The whole hero turn to villain thing. I think of those three absolutely. I mean, Deontay Wilder, obviously, he talks a lot. McGregor, a lot. Mayweather just shows off his money way too much, and I think that ultimately is what people don't really like about him. And plus, he doesn't really box; he's a defensive fighter, as we well know. So I think that's ultimately what people come to see him just get hit.
Yeah.
I would love to see Mayweather really, really get hit and not have a smile on his face after he gets hit.
I mean, I can think of another one, Adrian Broner, but
See now
but
that
but
guy.
he more or less kept losing after a while though.
Yeah, see, here's a
But
guy
once
that
again,
just can't get
it's
right.
a matter of, are we still talking about now, or we're talking about on the rise up?
I mean, see, that's the thing. We're talking about guys who were on the rise, who rose enough to become the villain.
Because I could also put in like Amir Khan, but he's a
True,
British
that
fighter. He's a British boxer though.
nationality doesn't matter. I just felt that.
I mean, people might even throw in Tyson Fury into the fray.
See, but Fury, I mean, that guy. I think he's still a fan favorite, honestly.
I think he was only a fan favorite for that fight.
Do you? I feel like people love him. Even like I've watched some fights of his in the past, and I just feel like he's always well for the fights that I've seen on YouTube. I felt like he was always the favorite. I mean, because of the antics, people want to see that. They don't want to see him get knocked out because they want to continue to see the antics, which I
Well,
hated, by the way.
and once again, it's this is still just being devil's advocate. There's going to be those few that don't like those antics and want
Oh
to see
yeah, I
him get
hated.
knocked out.
Oh, I hated it. I was very happy to see him get knocked down. Absolutely. I hated it. But I don't know if that's a hero to fall kind of thing. I think he's up there in the middle. Like people I think people respect his boxing. I don't know if they tune in to be like, "Oh, Fury, I can't wait for him to get knocked down because of those antics." I think it's just I just can't wait for him to get knocked down just because of the person he might be fighting against. It's weird with boxing. I mean, it's just I think if we're looking at it from a from an analytical perspective and we're looking at the records and we look at Deontay Wilder, we say, all right, what's there really not to like? He throws a strong right hand. He has pretty solid defense. Sometimes he lacks, some poor technique, but he gets the job done. And then it's like, what's there to hate? It has nothing to do with his in ring ability. It's all his out of the ring ability, or in some people's mind, the lack thereof, his communication style. But again, that goes back to his culture and where he's from, who he is,
Yep.
not forgetting who he is, not changing. I mean, that's kind of what it comes down
I mean, heck,
to
people
me at
people might
least.
even throw in like Roy Jones in there too, as
Oh
far
yeah,
as
Roy
just
Jones,
someone who was
Zab,
just overly cocky and
yeah, Zab Judah, all those guys.
I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. When they're winning, to me, you want if you're doing anything and you know this, you want to win. I mean, that's why we play the game, isn't it?
For some people.
See, then that's something completely different. If you don't play to win the game, then I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, if you want to crown them, then crown them. Then
Wow. Wow.
I mean, I'm being honest. It's like people just saying, you know what, forget it. We might as well the whole Western Conference might as well just tank until Steph Curry retires. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, these guys retire because we can't win. It's like Rocky might have just not even went back into the ring when Adrian said you can't win. He might have just said, "You're right, Adrian. I can't win."
I'm not gonna
Might as
try
well
to do a
just.
Rocky impression because I feel like we're gonna get cut off the air.
I'm just saying, yeah, that fight would be kind of rough, but it would be hilarious. But I'm just saying, it's like Rudy might as well have dropped out of school because he was never ever gonna play. ever. Not even one game. As you're saying, it's like, what's the point?
I got nothing there.
So I mean, yeah, that's weird. I wouldn't want to. I probably wouldn't even talk to somebody who said they didn't want to win. I probably would end the conversation right there. The conversation's over.
I mean, I understand that, but let's shift gears away from, people who want to win to a team that just couldn't win whatsoever, in which the Portland Trailblazers fell in a 4-0 sweep to the Golden State Warriors.
And I'm not sure if you saw the or saw one of the highlights, but they showed a diagram showing that Rodney Hood has actually gotten swept by the Warriors for the last 3 seasons.
Yes.
That is some sad stuff right there.
Yeah, but like that's here's the thing.
Uh-oh.
I understand that, and that's well and good and interesting as an individual stat. Like we're talking basketball,
Sure.
team basketball. So, pardon my French, but I don't give a crap about Rodney
Well,
Hood's past three playoff
dang.
record against the Golden State Warriors.
You don't
I
even care about
don't
my man Rodney
care.
Hood.
I do not care. Now, what is
Dang.
important
Okay,
was the
okay.
Trailblazers' past three playoff losses and how those three were sweeps.
That is pretty big. Um,
Now, we're talking about that. That's something different. But don't sit there and tell me about no Rodney Hood.
don't be playing Rodney Hood out. He's
I'm
a
not,
dookie.
I'm not even going to play Rodney Hood out. I'm just saying he is irrelevant.
He's not irrelevant. Nobody who went to the Brotherhood is irrelevant.
He's irrelevant.
I can't believe you're saying this.
Irrelevant.
But you're right though. I mean, the Trailblazers getting swept 3 straight years is pretty big. Um, I hated it because some games they really had it. They really should have. This really should have been 2-2, just like the other game.
Yep.
Honestly, or at least 3-1.
I could agree with 3-1. I could agree with 3-1.
Yeah, I mean the one game they really had it, and then it is this not this game, but game three, I feel like they had a good chance to win. Only game they didn't really have a chance was game one, but I really felt it should have been 2-2 or at least 3-1.
3-1. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah, and Myers Leonard really tried his best in game four to help his team out, and
Mouse Leonard went
I,
ballistic.
yeah, that's just it's just sad, man. And it stinks because it's like now you have to sit there and wonder like, what a team has to do to get to the next level. And that's what every team's goal is. I mean, obviously, as I mentioned last week, the Rockets are obsessed with catching the Warriors. Now the Clippers are going to be obsessed with catching the Warriors.
Yep.
Trailblazers got to be obsessed with catching the Warriors. Do they have the pieces to catch the Warriors?
I feel
And
like out of the three teams,
mm-hmm,
just based off of what they potentially do over the summer, the
sure.
Clippers may have the best chance to chase the Warriors.
I agree. Well, apparently, I mean, again, speculation.
And that's why I'm like,
Yeah,
according to what could potentially happen.
speculation. Which, if you were to pair Kevin Durant, which is the speculative part, with Gallinari and Lou Williams and Patrick Beverly, I mean, that might be something big.
Here's the thing. I don't think it'll be KD going to LA. It'll be
Where you look?
Kawhi going to the Clippers.
Well, I don't think Kawhi's leaving Toronto. I know people say he might, but I really don't think. I mean, they're right here at the Eastern Conference Finals, freaking, tied with the Greek Freak, which we're gonna get into next. I mean, they have a pretty solid squad. I, I don't think Kawhi's leaving. If I'm the Clippers, I wouldn't put my money on it. I would put my
No,
money on
absolutely not.
somebody else.
Well, and once
I would,
again, this is still going back to people are just speculating these things are going to happen.
yeah.
You know,
If I was the Clippers, I probably would put
there
my money
there has
with
been
Clay. Probably.
zero talks with these players, with these
Hmm.
potential teams. Nothing's happening. It is just some Joe Schmo sitting there behind his computer, typing stuff up and putting it out there, saying it's news. Like, I don't
Yeah, I think it
get.
was Chris Prasad, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's even worse too because him and KD has been beefing for the past couple of days.
Yeah, I think it was Chris Prasad who said he'd been texting KD back and forth. I think that's
Yeah,
what the
and
whole beef
KD called
was.
him
Yeah,
out saying, "Yeah, yeah, I didn't reach out to you at all."
you don't even have my
Did
phone
did did,
number.
did you did you read about that?
Yeah, I did. You don't even have my phone number. He said you don't even have my phone number, dog.
You know what the worst part is? This is almost similar to what happened with KD and Stephen A. Smith.
Yes, it's very
This is
similar.
like exactly what happened.
I mean, I don't know why they're playing. They're trying to play it cool, like they're friends with these guys, and it's like, and then when they call you out, it just makes you look stupid. It just
Not much
makes you
else to
look
say.
stupid.
Once again, this is why we always take things with a grain of salt
Right.
because it's hardly ever true. Once again, all this is just speculations. That's all it is. Chris Broussard, who does a heck of a job,
Mm-hmm.
covering sports. He's been doing it for well over 10 plus years, and his famous line, Dwayne Wade. But wait until after the season is over. See,
Right.
this is the problem that I have with the media today, and we talked about this before, and I'm not going to go too deeply into it, but when they keep trying to, uncover breaking news only to find out that it's not true, like,
Mm-hmm.
well, how does that impact their credibility now? Because how many
Right.
times have we heard things from these, insiders, NBA insiders, that such and such is going to happen, and the exact opposite happens?
True. Very true.
And then imagine like how much of a distraction that becomes in the locker room. We talked about that
We
occurring
definitely do.
in
And
certain
that
teams in the past.
yeah, and that happens throughout all sports, I think.
Like,
All sports.
okay, well, if there's a rumor about it, then say what I've heard around, the grapevine or up scuttlebutt is
Hmm.
such and such is gonna happen. But if you
And
sit
I
there and
hate
say
that
I have been texting Kevin Durant
personally.
personally,
Hmm. That's
now you're being put underneath the microscope when it comes to purebred NBA fans. Because
right.
casual fans, they don't really care. I mean, they're going to take that and they're going to speak about it in barbershops and all this other stuff.
Right.
But
Right.
those that know all this stuff right now, absolute BS. You know why? Because
Absolutely.
Kevin Durant and his team, the Golden State Warriors, are still going for another championship. They're trying to get that three-peat. Why would he talk about
Right.
this right now? In fact, he didn't talk about this all year long. So what makes in the Western Conference Finals any different? He's trying to focus on getting back to start game one, which they have 8 days as of today until it starts. And Chris Broussard's talking about texting?
Right.
Texting. How about we get more updates on Kevin Durant's calf injury to find out whether or not he's going
Facts.
to be 100% before game one next week? How about that?
That's absolute facts.
How about we talk
He should have.
about whether or not Boogie Cousins might be able to come back or not?
We should talk
Because
about that
because
definitely.
because they have enough time before the NBA finals start. Like, how come we can't talk
Mm-hmm.
about that?
Mm-hmm. Chris Broussard want to talk about next season. And
Like
it's like you
everyone
say,
here wants to talk
I
about
feel like
next
you say
season,
that all the time.
acting like the season's over already.
Yeah, that's what you say all the time. I mean, we should be focusing on the teams that are in the playoffs right now.
Well, it's
Um,
disrespectful to them and the
yeah,
craft that they work so hard to entertain us all with.
unless they're crowning the Warriors already in their minds.
That's stupid.
That's I'm just saying that's the only logical
Like,
explanation I
the
can
Golden
come up
State
with.
Warriors still has a very high percentage chance of winning the NBA championship. Yes, that's what Vegas is telling people to bet on. Absolutely. But anything can happen.
Honestly, with those two East teams, I don't feel like. See, this is the difference between this year and the last 5 years.
5 years. Thank you. Say it. Tell them. Tell them.
These two East teams are really good.
Really good.
Like, really, really good. And I know LBJ is quote unquote the best in the world,
He
quote
is not.
unquote.
No, he is not.
I,
And
I put it
I've
in
said this
quotes.
2 years ago.
You did.
I had people sit there and say that I don't know basketball anymore.
Wow. LBJ, quote unquote, is the best in the world, quote unquote.
I said, was he the best athlete in the world? Absolutely. The best basketball player in
I
the world?
remember.
Absolutely not.
I remember. But these teams
These teams,
are really good.
really good.
And I think these teams would have probably beat the Cavs in 5 or 6. I'm not going to say sweep, but I think they would have beat them in 5 or 6.
I would agree with you. Only if the referees called a game straight down the middle.
Yeah, they call it straight down the middle
Oh,
because, I
I'm calling
mean,
out the refs too. Like everyone's getting called out today.
and I'll say this, and then of course we can move on to that particular series. But Giannis admittedly said he was so happy when LeBron went west because he didn't want to have to deal with LeBron. He didn't say the Cavs. He
He
said
said
LeBron.
LeBron because he knows it's not just LeBron that you're faced off against. It's
It's
LeBron.
LeBron and the rest.
It's the Cavs. It's his teammates. It's the fan base. It's the referees.
The
It's the
referees.
media.
Yeah, the referees, boy.
What have they called one good game all postseason? Yes or no?
Absolutely not.
Okay, thank you. I've been saying
Absolutely
this.
not.
I've been saying this all season long that these referees have been getting worse and worse. I even said it carried over into the NCAA tournament. As you would say,
Oh
you
yeah,
know, your Dookies got screwed by the referees, but that's besides
they
the
really
point.
did.
But
They
I
did.
have said this all season long that the referees have been getting worse and worse
Mm-hmm.
with each game. Not only are they blowing calls, they're calling stupid fouls.
Stupid fouls.
They're giving
That's why I
people
was
technicals
surprised.
really
That's why I was
quickly.
surprised when Portland and Utah went into that triple overtime. That's why I was saying I was surprised that people weren't fouled out because it's not because of the skills, because of the refs.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
I mean, how many times have people said, you know, we don't want the referees to determine the outcome of the game?
But then they
It's been
go ahead
happening.
and yeah, they definitely do. I mean, but I would say that I mean, moving from the west to the east, I mean, we bring up Giannis, we bring up Kawhi. I mean, the Raptors and the Bucks are two great teams, and to think that the Warriors are going to come in and just destroy whatever team comes in their way, they're going to
It's
get pushed to
laughable.
the limit.
That's laughable.
I'm telling you, Brooke Lopez is playing some basketball.
I don't know what you have to tell me.
I mean, and that's what I said before the series. I was saying that, I felt like he was, a key figure in this particular series because he can stretch the floor and he makes a pretty big difference. And I said that the Bucks are really, really built similar to the Rockets. They just have a shooting center,
You did say that.
which I wouldn't
You
be
did say that.
surprised if the Rockets made a move to change Capella out, but which I would highly doubt or hope that they wouldn't give up on him
I
yet.
don't think they're gonna do that. I do
But I
think I
wouldn't
need
be
to move on Chris
surprised.
Paul.
Nobody's taking $35 million at 34, unless LeBron wants it.
It, thank you. You see where I
Unless
was going with
LeBron,
that then. You saw
yeah,
exactly where I was going with that.
yeah, unless LeBron wants his $34 million. But that's neither here nor there. I feel like Kawhi's injury. if he can hold it together for this series, I feel like Toronto will be there, but they without Kawhi being full strength, it's gonna be tough.
Well, and here's the thing though, and this is something that's weird. We had a Kyle Lowry sighting in these Western Conference Finals for the
Eastern,
past two games for this conference finals.
the Eastern,
Yes,
yeah.
but we had a Kyle Lowry sighting in back-to-back
Well,
games.
Kyle,
We've been
he's
very
always been
critical of him.
streaky.
We've been
He's
very
always been
critical of him.
streaky. I mean, you think about it, he's a former Rocket, so I know Kyle very well. He's very streaky. He's always been streaky. And, when he does show up, I mean, he plays big when he shoots well. But, I mean, you remember that game he played against Orlando. It was
Oh, I
terrible.
know.
But Van Fleet, really had a pretty good,
I know.
solid game.
Who should have been a
Um,
Nick?
I,
I said that before he got drafted.
yeah, he should have been a Nick. But they have
So,
some pretty solid
who's
talent.
one person you want? I want Fred Van Fleet. Because I watched
Didn't
the
draft,
Shockers.
didn't draft him.
Dang it, Dolan. This is not about my
Right.
Knickerbockers. This is about the Raptors. Serge Ibaka apparently has been having some spark of life. Pascal Siakam has been shooting the ball now instead of just not shooting, so that helped them out too.
Right.
And then them starting Norman Powell and putting Danny Green on the bench
Right.
has been, crucial towards their transition because the Raptors defense
Mm-hmm.
has not necessarily completely, but at least 60% of the way neutralized Giannis. Giannis is
But you
still
also
getting his stuff,
right.
but he's not causing as much havoc as he did the first two games. So
But
Nick
you
Nurse
also
did
have to
an
think
incredible
about it like
job of the
this.
defensive adjustment.
Yeah, and you also have to think about it like this. I mean, when you look at how the Bucks are set up, moving Danny Green to the bench to guard the likes of George Hill or um, I think Brogdon comes off the bench now.
Yes.
So you have these guys, Hill, Brogdon, um, what's his name, Connaughton,
Yeah,
having
Connaughton.
these guards that are coming off the bench, and then you're going to, Van Vliet, who's not really the defensive stopper that Green is, but he still can hold his own.
He has a
But when you can,
high basketball IQ.
right, he really does. But when
Once
you
again, I said
compare,
I said he can be potentially,
he does, he does
really
have
really
potential.
good. Like not Jason Kidd level, but like he has that ability to do so.
But that's what I'm saying. You got Van Vliet and Danny Green together versus Brogdon and Hill. That's why you move Danny Green to the bench. Because if not, I mean, not saying that Norman Powell can't play great defense, because Norman Powell is a pretty solid defender as
No,
well.
he's been playing some very
But
good defense.
yeah, but I think Danny Green on Brogdon is really what they probably were going for.
Well, it's a combination between that and the fact that Danny Green has been in such a shooting slump that is ridiculous.
Yeah, but you know
So,
how Danny is, though.
oh no,
I mean,
and I get it, but he's been consistent all year
yeah.
until the playoffs.
Danny, he's always been kind of streaky, and I mean, I'm sure he was shocked by the trade from San Antonio, but he took it like a champ, and look at him now in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, yeah, but
But
we have
I mean, it's
Game
two,
5 tomorrow.
yeah, 2-2.
2-2
Uh,
game. Do you think this is gonna go 7?
I, I feel like the Bucks might take it in 6. They might win the next 2 games.
They need to win it in Toronto for Game 6.
Yeah, I think they're gonna win the next 2 games. As much as I like Kawhi, if and I haven't really read too much up on Kawhi's injury, but from what I've heard, I mean he's playing hurt. But I think he mentioned or someone else mentioned also that it's the playoffs and that they're all playing hurt. They're all feeling something, some kind of pain. But Kawhi still just he's such a good player.
I know he's a
I
good
knew
player.
I knew he was good, but I
No,
mean,
I
my
knew he was
goodness,
better than good. I knew it. I knew it.
that's so ridiculous.
I knew it.
Like,
You heard me say
like,
it though. Like I said it.
I'm surprised that you know, like, don't get me wrong. I know Greg Popovich is a great coach, but I mean, he's getting down towards the end of his career. I'm surprised they didn't Jerry Sloan him out of there. I'm surprised.
What for Pop?
I'm Yeah, I'm surprised.
No, they're not gonna do that. There's way more respect than that. So apparently, someone on the big lead put up an article where they were referencing Skip Bayless tweets
Hmm.
on Kawhi Leonard's injury. Oh my gosh, Skip Bayless. Why?
Mm.
This it's a series of tweets. I'm gonna quote them all. Quote: If you're a longtime Spurs fan, you know you can never quite trust and depend on number two. Is he hurt tonight? He seems to be moving just fine. Is he out of gas? It's the conference finals. The truth is, number two often is what he is not. The Raptors
What?
did not put number two on the official injury report, yet now he has shrewdly built in the mysterious injury excuse. Is it his quad, his knee? Just in case he crumbles under the pressure to lead his team versus Giannis.
Oh wow.
This is San Antonio all over again. Obviously, the Raptors med staff is so unsure what's wrong with him, they didn't even put him on the injury report. But he power cuts, dunks, and limps. Huh. Why? What exactly is wrong? Ginobili and Parker, been there, done that.
Wow. Wow. That's so low. That's like
Man,
using
you
Trump in
know,
a rest
you
debate.
know what? I had to take a drink of water. That was
Hopefully.
way too salty.
I mean, way.
Way too salty. Like, I looked at him like, what has this fool said again?
That's crazy.
Like, it's bad enough that I could barely stomach first take,
Yeah.
but the fact that Undisputed is actually now worse because it's more about being outspoken and a wild personality than it is
Hmm.
really talking about facts, which is what we
Right.
do here at Debate Amongst Friends. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Debate Amongst Fra.
That's right.
That
But yeah,
it's hard to take anything that they say seriously anymore. Like, who says this?
yeah, I don't know who says that.
You're supposed
That's
to be a
rough.
neutral party when it
Right.
comes to speaking about, like, your team's not even in the playoffs. Shut up.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure why. That's ridiculous. Utter ridiculous. Kawhi could be in pain. There's no question about it. They all could be in pain.
Like, he said a great man's famous quote. Kawhi Leonard said, I'm good. A great
Right.
man always says that line.
Right. That's true.
So that could mean
Abs-
anything.
It really could. It could really mean like, yo, I'm in excruciating pain, but I'm in the NBA, so I'm
Like,
good.
help me, please. I really don't want to keep going.
But I'm
Like,
good.
put me out of my misery, but I'm good.
I'm good. I'm good. I've said that several times, and
I
the last
no
2 months,
that's
I'm
who I was referencing when I said a great
think
man.
about it, yeah, the
Yeah,
last 2 months. I mean,
yeah, I know.
you
I wasn't
know,
trying to put you out there, but like you said it though.
yeah, the
Like
last 2 months.
I thought you would just took the compliment like thank you, Prof, and just
No,
kept
no. I
going. But
mean,
no, you had to put your name out there.
it's okay. I mean, the last 2 months I've been going through it, but I'm good.
I mean, he's gonna be sitting there claymoring people
Yep, that's right. With the bad leg too.
with the bat leg. Just watch out for your lower back, man, because Drew McIntyre is going to slip a disc or something doing that one day.
That's terrible. That's so
Well, I
terrible.
mean, it's a good move, but like, it's great to do it while you're in the ring, not on
Hmm.
like on a steel ramp or something.
Yeah, he does do it in awkward places, I guess. Because like I remember he had hit Roman with one, and he was like outside, and I was just like, I mean, I know it's padding out there, but it's not like
No, it's not
thick
that
pad.
much padding.
Yeah, it's like you're tripping
See, I was thinking of
for
the
this
one
energy.
where he did it to Braun Strowman up on a stage, and like
Tripping.
immediately after he did it, like he was just clutching his lower back. I'm like, see, that's gonna shorten his career right there.
And I know Stone Cold mentioned that before. He was like, if he had one thing, he's like, he loved the Stone Cold Stunner, but if he could change anything
One
about it, he
thing,
was like,
it would be that move.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
yeah, falling on his butt thousands of times, you
I will
know.
agree with him. And I still am a personal, you know, I personally still enjoy the stun gun when he used to do that as a finisher.
Right.
But
But I
not a
mean,
lot of people remember that.
any move that really requires you to fall on your butt or your back or anything like that, even your knees, like,
Poor Undertaker.
yeah, exactly. And he had to make sure he had to put the brunt force on his knees to make sure he didn't drop them on their head too. I don't
Anywho, I
know.
think we're at Endgame.
Yeah, we marked out for a second.
I mean, it's fine though because you have an actual title while a certain Mark only has a toy to
That's
wave
right.
around.
That's right. Toys and toys are for kids.
I thought Tricks was for kids.
They still make tricks.
Yes, yes, they do. In
Oh,
fact, it's probably more sugary now.
a lot more artificial colors. Well, at the end of every show, we do like to have our final thoughts. Subjects that deserve time, but not a full segment.
Not a full
I do have a
segment.
few topics myself, and usually I do go first, and I think I'll continue that trend
Absolutely. Doc, what you
as
got?
the Michigan Wolverines bring in a new head coach. Former Fab Five member Jawan Howard to coach the Wolverines to replace Beeline.
Yep.
Um, some people are surprised by this move, and it's
I
I mean, and Jawan, he's coached for some time, but
I think people are only surprised because he ended up not going to the Lakers in some capacity. Because once again, speculations
right,
raised the bar so high.
right. But he's been an assistant coach for the last couple of years. And I mean, him being a Michigan guy, I mean, it makes sense that they would bring in a Michigan guy at least. At least. At least. Well, my next topic here, while we were actually on the show here recording, thing popped up on my ticker, and it sounded stupid, but I figured I would just throw it out there just
Okay.
to see how you feel about it. Kristaps
Yeah,
Porzingis,
I read that too.
yeah, the Knicks are claiming that he gave them an ultimatum, which goes kind of back to what you were saying initially when the trade happened, that something smelled fishy, you know, um, something must have happened. Dolan this, Dolan that. But ultimately, it was Kristaps' brother who threatened that they would go back to Europe if he wasn't traded.
Yeah,
Um,
it
but
is. It's going to be his brother.
but that seems to be, again, speculation. I mean, you can't just be getting out of your contract and going back to Europe. I mean, I don't know if you can do that unless I guess the team in Europe would have to buy you out. I guess buy out the contract. I guess.
Probably.
Yeah, but I
And this is
mean,
from the Knicks who was saying this, correct?
right? That's correct. The
Yeah.
two
So you already know how
executives.
how much I believe that already.
Right. So my last final thought is one that I actually covered last week. Gerald McCoy officially released from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And a day later, the Bucks actually went ahead and negotiated with Ndamukong Suh. And right now, Gerald McCoy is going to be in talks with the Cincinnati Bengals, who thank God Marvin Lewis isn't there anymore. I would be highly upset.
I'm
But
surprised he didn't want to go to the Browns instead.
well, the thing with the Browns was that I heard that OBJ wanted him to come over there, but Miles Garrett was like, "We don't need Gerald McCoy, and Odell needs to focus on offense."
I like that. I like that
I
actually.
I like that too.
I can
That shit's pretty.
respect that too.
Hey, bro, you just got here. You can't be
You
telling
just
people to
got
come over
here.
here.
Don't fan the flames.
Yeah, so we coming over here talking about you. You want people to come over. You just got here. You might not even stay.
This is pretty much.
However,
That's
yeah.
pretty much.
So of course, the drama in Tampa land right now is the number 93, of course, which both players wear. Some fans are torn, saying it would be disrespectful of the Bucks to give Gerald's number to Gerald's number to Sue immediately. But I mean, ultimately, I mean, if he wants 93, 93 is available.
I am definitely more on the latter part.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He didn't
You know,
bring Tampa a championship.
he
How many
didn't.
times did your team make the playoffs with him playing?
Maybe
Yeah,
once, maybe no,
you see
maybe
where I'm going
once.
with that, right?
Yeah, and Sue brings a nastiness that I want. Now, don't get me wrong. I would have loved for Sue and McCoy to play together 1 year. I mean, I dreamed of that years ago, and I
I
know we're
remember.
getting a 9 year veteran Sue, not a young Sue, 30, 31, 32 years old. Um, and it's like, but I know he's more aggressive than McCoy. And I know that Sue gets a bad rap for being dirty, but ultimately, when you're in those trenches, you kind of have to have some nastiness to you.
I mean, Pop said it best. I want some nasty.
I really do. And I'm hoping that we get it. I'm hoping that we get it. But those are my final thoughts, sir. Sue versus McCoy continues as the number 2 and 3 pick of their respective draft. Their story continues to be intertwined.
Oh, thank you very much for that, sir. I know the people loved it.
Oh yeah.
So, speaking of draft classes,
Mm-hmm.
the NBA announced their all NBA all rookie first teams. And this rookie team has some historical significance. The people that I'm talking about are Luka Doncic, Trae Young, Jarrett Jackson Jr., Marvin Bagley III, and DeAndre Ayton. Now, why would this have historical significance? Well, this is the first time since the 1984-85 draft that the top 5 picks in the draft also
Mm,
made all rookie first team. And for
that's
those that
amazing.
are
Yeah, you.
unaware and those that don't know who that draft class was, that draft class were Hakeem Olajuwon, Sam Bowie, Michael Jordan, Sam Perkins, and Charles Barkley.
Mm,
So
nice.
that is astounding. Of course, with Luka Doncic and Trae Young being the top vote getters, with 200 total points each. They only had first team votes. They had no second team votes. The second team was Shai Julius Alexander from the Clippers,
Mm,
Colin Sexton,
mm-hmm.
Landry Shamet, Mitchell
Shimmy.
Robinson, and
Oh yeah.
Kevin Hutter.
Oh, he's good too. Yeah, Huter.
So I'm happy that I at least have one Knickerbocker in there.
Hope,
He
hopefully
wasn't
that
one who
doesn't
I
increase his
originally
trade
was
value.
thinking about, but he definitely came out to play, and I hope we don't get rid of him because that'd be stupid.
Yeah, and hopefully that doesn't just increase his trade value.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
But speaking of other teams, the NBA All Defensive Team for this year has also been announced.
Mm-hmm.
Which there were some questionable selections, but I'll go through the list and you'll let me know who belongs there, who shouldn't belong there. We
Sure.
have Rudy Gobert, Paul
Okay.
George, Giannis
Uh,
Antetokounmpo, Marcus
yep.
Smart, and Eric Bledsoe. as your all defensive first team.
I don't know about Marcus Smart. I feel like he didn't even play a whole season.
The second team for the all NBA all defensive: Drew Holiday, Klay Thompson, Joel
Clay.
Embiid, Draymond Green, and Kawhi Leonard.
Wow. Draymond should have been in the. Draymond should have been over Paul George, honestly, and I think Clay should have been over. Yeah, that's rough. Clay should have definitely been over. I don't even. That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Who did these things? Who did
yeah.
this? Who did this? Was it you?
Here's the funny part: Miles Turner is not in neither first or second teams.
So that's rough.
And I think it's more because people don't know about the Pacers. They only knew about the Pacers team because, oh wait, they were still in third place when Oladipo went down.
Miles Turner. Well, first of all, Gobert definitely number one. I'm not 100% sure about Embiid. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure about Embiid. But I mean, should they introduce a third team?
I feel like they shouldn't need to. I think they just need to get better at doing this vote.
Yeah, because Marcus Smart is definitely not. That's that's no good. That's no good. But then
Because I'm
again, you
looking
know
at some
what?
of the
I'm not.
names of people who actually got like either a first place or a second place vote for joining the defensive teams.
Mhm.
Like Ben Simmons got one. Uh, De'Aaron Fox got one. Andre
He's
Iguodala
really
got one. Kyrie Irving
right.
got one. Dame Lillard got one. Ricky Rubio got one.
No,
Chris Paul,
no.
James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, which I can actually
Yes, Donovan
agree with
Mitchell.
that. Yep.
Yes.
Patrick Beverly.
Come on,
Like,
PB.
he only got 48 votes.
That's crazy. Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart. Just
That's
saying.
rough.
Just saying.
Yeah.
And the last
Mm-mm-mm.
one, they also announced all the award finalists for the NBA Awards show that's going to be premiering Monday, June 24th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on TNT. No, they're not paying us for that, so, write that check to Chris.
Mm-hmm.
But we have the most valuable player, rookie of the year, blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to go them real quickly. Uh, we won't talk about it until, let's say, like, what, midway through the finals, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But here's the most valuable player finalists: Giannis Antetokounmpo, Paul George, and James Harden. Paul
Right.
George was surprising,
It is surprising.
but
I
hey,
feel like they just threw him. I feel like they just threw him in there. Oh
that's actually pretty
no.
funny. That's actually pretty funny.
I
NBA
mean, come
Rookie
on.
of the Year. The finalists are DeAndre Ayton, Luka Doncic, and Trey Young. We may be seeing the first ever co-Rookie of the Year since Grant Hill and Jason Kidd. I'm calling it
I
right now.
think they, I think they're gonna give it to Doncic.
The sixth man of the year awards. The finalists are Montrezl Harrell, Domantas Sabonis, and Lou Williams. Yeah, that's yeah. We already know who's gonna win that
Yeah.
one.
Lou got to win again.
Yeah, but he might
He's
go up there and be like, as much as I appreciate you voting for me, like this award really goes to Montrez.
no.
I'm
I feel like
telling you, that
Montrez
might happen.
started. I don't know. I don't know why he's in there. I feel like he started a lot of
No,
games.
no, he came off the bench for most games.
Mm,
Yeah, he passed that threshold to be
mm,
qualify for it. Defensive Player of the Year, we have Giannis Antetokounmpo, Paul George, and Rudy Gobert.
Hmm.
Most Improved Player, De'Aaron Fox, D'Angelo Russell, and Pascal Siakam.
Pascal. Oh
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
But I can't. I mean, D'Lo.
But is it him improving or him just stopping with the antics?
I think he's gotten to a better system. But
Okay.
Siakam, I mean, he came out of nowhere
Siakam,
and just really
Siakam's
started
winning this
balling.
one. Yeah, we already know he's
Yeah.
winning that one. Come
Yeah.
on. Coach of the Year, we have Mike Budenholzer, Michael Malone. Should I tell you which team they're coaching, or do you know?
I mean, for the people, not so much for me, but for the
Okay.
people.
Mike Budenholzer for the Milwaukee Bucks, Michael
Hmm.
Malone for the Denver Nuggets, and Doc Rivers for the LA Clippers.
I'm surprised the coach of the Raptors isn't on there.
Nick Nurse.
Yeah. I mean, I'm giving it to probably, but
I'm
that's
surprised
rough.
Nick McMillan's not on there for the Pacers.
Well,
They could have free fell out of the playoffs.
they could have. I mean, you have to give credit to Malone. I think also. I mean, for what he's done with the Nuggets is pretty amazing.
Oh,
But I
absolutely.
think it's but I think Mike Budenholzer is going to get it because of his past coaching experience. Really, his most improved coach award in this situation.
Yes. They also have a Lifetime Achievement Award where they have Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. I don't think that's going to be a finalist. I think that's just the two.
Yeah, I think they just went. They won already.
Yeah. And the
That's
Stay
cool though.
Strong Award goes to Robin Roberts,
Oh, that's cool.
who I don't know if you know this, but she is one of the anchors for ABC's Good Morning America.
Mm-mm.
So that's who she is, just to let you know.
I thought she might have been related to Jake.
Oh,
Yeah.
can't believe that. Can't believe you said that.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think
Sorry.
the only other thing that was worth noting was something that I put out onto our social media talking about Brian Windhorst calling Mario Chalmers and Mo Williams a poor man's Kyrie Irving, which I thought that was really disrespectful to Kyrie
It is. Kyrie's so
because
much.
they compared them to when Kyrie played with LeBron.
No. Kyrie wasn't out there getting yelled at first and foremost.
That's
And
one.
Mo Williams just take a lot of really bad shots. A lot of bad shots.
Mo Williams was the only person still in LeBron James' career who LeBron made into an All Star.
Hmm.
I just want to put that out there.
Hmm. I did see that somebody asked if Kevin Love was still in the league.
Yes, he's still in the league.
Yes, I know. It was just a funny. I made another funny.
Yes, he was still in the league, folks. Stop it. But that's all that we have, ladies and gentlemen. We're definitely at the end of the show. Thank you very much for tuning in. You can follow us on our social media, facebook.com/debate amongst friends. Follow the Facebook group as
Hmm.
well too, /group/debate amongst friends. Our Twitter account at Debate Amongst Friends, on Periscope at Debate Amongst Friends, on our YouTube, and you can listen to us off YouTube on our various podcasting platforms, Player FM, Stitcher, uh, iTunes, Google Podcasts, and any and all podcast related applications on your Android and iOS devices. You can also follow myself at Prof. John A. Gotti on Twitter, Professor John Gotti on Instagram. You can follow that podcasting beast at TLW on both Twitter and Instagram as well too. Make sure you follow
Hmm.
our other programs, Marking Out Amongst Friends. They're going to be talking about the build up to the Saudi Arabia. Wait, no, it's not Saudi Arabia. The Jeddah exclusive event called Superstar Showdown. Listen to their thoughts, concerns, heading into it. They'll be discussing the past week's Raw and SmackDown as well too. Hopefully, they'll be discussing the Double or Nothing pay-per-view that's going to be occurring this Saturday in Las Vegas, Nevada, which Cody and the Young Bucks, brand new promotion, All Elite Wrestling, will be in fruition. You can also follow our other show, Duke It Out, as Duke and Duchess talk about all things pop culture, movies, comics, and political debating. And finally, you can follow our game streams at Gaming Amongst Friends on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're going to be bringing some more stuff for you as we finish up the division. More retro related items as well too. I'll start working on some Mario Hack Let's Plays as well too. So if you enjoy some video games, definitely check out Gaming Amongst Friends. We'll really appreciate it. And that's about it, sir. Do you want to introduce tonight's track?
Actually, I'm not sure which one you selected, actually.
Well, tonight's track is from artist Babadoo featuring Komochi, called
Komochi
City.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yeah. See, yeah. Gotta let your boy know. Now I gave you options. Now you needed options. I gave you options.
I go from left to right, just like how
got it. Gotcha.
I go from left to right, just like I read.
Well, this would have been up, down, 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 up, whatever.
Well,
I guess.
Speaking of up, down, down. Big shout outs to Kofi Kingston, aka Mr. 24/7, aka Mr. Gacho, as in Gacho. Shut your mouth.
Oh wow!
As he successfully earned the up, down, down title. He is now going to be referred to as Kofi Two Belts.
Wow.
As he defeated Jack Gallagher in video games. Which, of course, I told you about the podcast that the 24/7 title that the WWE is currently doing is more or less based off of the up, down, down title.
Right.
Just saying.
Biters.
And that's all we got, folks. Doc, let's send them home.
Let's do it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Tune in next week as we talk about more basketball as we head towards the off season, get ourselves ready for football, and soon, Debate Amongst Friends will be going on their annual summer vacation.
That's
as
right.
We go into our hiatus for the summer until football officially begins. But
Doc and
all...
Prof having pie in the country.
I mean, I'm not in the country, but you'll definitely be having the pie.
Woo!
But Doc and Prof will be here every single Wednesday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube, on Twitch, and on Periscope. Big shout outs to our folks out there in Periscope. Make sure you like, subscribe, channel. Like I said before, we always appreciate it. Make sure you give love to all of our artists as well too, including Croup Dog for providing us with the intro track for this show. Once again, I'm the Professor John Gotti.
This is Dr. Wednesday Night, the podcast beast.
And we'll catch you again next time. And like we always say, goodbye, mwah, and to all, a good night.
Taste the ocean.
Yo, 俺たちはそう持たざるもの ID もない名前もない過去も未来もない今しかない何も変わらない無意味に生きる貧民街俺らはここで一体何が自分の存在の証明かって葛藤し作ってる These worlds あっちとこっちまるで別世界教会はでかい神様は不公平俺たちは指くわいつもどん底で使い捨てで保証もない真剣な奴隷安らげるのはきっと死ぬ時だけ唯一の娯楽はメガロボスあいつがあいつをボコボコにする普通な表情が心を救うんでまた拾い集めるゴミくず